Hey there everybody, it's time for another Mod Monday, and sorry this one's coming out so much later than usual. I had to do a lot of research for this mod because it is another Thaumcraft mod. That's right, like the forestry add-on for Thaumcraft and Thaumic bees, there is an add-on that's Thaumcraft specific called Thaumic Tinkerer. So let's take a look at it. So as you could see, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I have scattered around, and not all of it is, well, not all of it is just for, Thaumic Tinkerer. Some of it is basic Thaumcraft stuff. Mostly I was checking out the new texture on the ores and seeing if liquid had a different texture as well, which I don't think it does. But we're not going to worry about that. We're going to focus on Thaumic Tinkerer. Now, Thaumic Tinkerer adds a whole bunch of new items. A very basic item that you can make is actually pretty much non-magical. Smoky Quartz. This is made with a bit of coal or charcoal and 8 quartz. And you can use that to create basically black versions of any quartz item. And they are a little bit hard to tell what they look like in the inventory, but they look pretty good placed in the actual world. I actually like their look quite a bit. It's a very nice contrast to the regular quartz. And if you want to, you can make a checkerboard with it, I guess. Should be kind of interesting. Alright, let's move on. So, one of the first things that we're going to talk about is this different chest here. This is a warded chest. Basically it functions exactly the same as warded blocks, glass, and doors. And those pressure plates. Only you are able to open it. And it has the space of a double chest. And inside I put a few basic items that we can take a look at quick. Now, most of the items you're going to have to research, and they all have their place in the Thaumonomicon. There's quite a few branches that are added, and it starts to make the Thaumonomicon look a little bit cluttered, but I think it's pretty balanced out where they're all located. Even Smoky Quartz is in here. Let's see, what should we talk about first? How about this? Gaseous Glowstone. Gaseous Glowstone, well, actually, pretty much all these items are going to be made in the Infusion Altar, not just Gaseous Glowstone. So we're going to look at each recipe so that we can see what you need to create the item. Gaseous Glowstone is just a couple of glowstone, some niter, and inside of a glass vial, and you get this interesting looking item. And the way it works is you can take this anywhere you want, right click it, and you let out a gaseous light. And that area is, well, it seems to be permanently lit up. I had a few placed a while ago and they don't seem to disappear at all. And while you're walking through, you do notice a small sparkling effect. And it works anywhere. You can even take it up in the air. Now, one thing I haven't tested yet is whether you can do this underwater. So why don't we give that a try? Let's go down below and plop. Well, seems like you can't do it underwater, which makes complete sense because it is a gas, so water would kind of dissipate it. But you can do it right above the water and still have semi-lit water. So that's pretty cool. Now, aside from gaseous glowstone, there is a gaseous darkness, or gaseous tenebrae. This is the first item I've ever seen in Thaumcraft, or with a Thaumcraft add-on, that actually makes use of the darkness element. To make it, you need some of the Smoky Quartz, alumentum, a glass vial, 6 air, and 2 tenebrous. And it works exactly the same as Gaseous Glowstone, in that when you right-click with it, you unleash a small pool of gaseous darkness. And that darkness is there to stay. Alright, let's get rid of those. Alright, let's talk about this cloth next. The cloth is an expansion of the enchanted fabric called the Spellbinding Fabric. You use 4 enchanted fabric and a bottle of enchanting to craft it. And you need some Precantatio, Panis, and Permutatio. Now, I know you're probably wondering, how the heck are you supposed to get a bottle of enchanting? You can't get those in Minecraft. Well, this mod does cover that, but it takes a little while before you can get to it. Anyway, the Spellbinding Cloth can take any item that has an enchantment on it. Let's go ahead and grab the Thaumic sword, and we'll give it a Sharpness 5 enchantment. Or, actually, let's not give it Sharpness 5, let's give it Smite. Now let's say you didn't want Smite on your sword. Well, simply put the sword in here with your Spellbinding Cloth, and you wipe away the enchantment. So that's pretty useful. It allows you to kind of fix an item that got an enchantment that you didn't want on it. So it's got its uses. Kind of small, but it's useful. Let's see, next item we will look at. Let's see, if we go down below, there is Wand of Dislocation. Now you need to research a portable hole before you can research this one. But if you combine a Wand of Dislocation with a Wand of Equal Trade with a portable hole using Vinculum and Permutatio, you get this Wand of Dislocation. Now what can that wand do? Here, let me grab the wand quick. We'll get to this thing in a second. Well, the Wand of Dislocation can pick up any block and place it anywhere else. Now, what good is that? And you can already dig up blocks yourself and place them down yourself. Well, this thing is a little bit more... Let's see, how would you say? A little bit more useful than just picking up a block. In fact, let's grab a chest, place it down, and we'll throw some random items into it. Wand of Dislocation can pick up that chest and place it elsewhere, and it will still have all the items in it. So in a way, your Wand of Dislocation can act as a kind of backpack. Alright, let's start this next one. The next one we're going to talk about... Oops. So I'm trying to keep to the pattern that you would actually find these. Next one you would see, that's basic Thaumcraft, would be Infernal Bracelet. An Infernal Bracelet requires 2 obsidian, 2 iron ingots, and a bucket of lava. And the way it works is, according to the Thaumanomicon, you have to charge it with an Arcane Bellows first. I don't know if that actually works or not, but... Anyway, according to the Thaumanomicon, you can smelt items in the world using this. Now, I decided to test it out on items you can normally smelt, and I am slightly disappointed with the way this works, but for the most part, it seems okay. It's better as a decorative item than anything. Now, initially you would probably think, hey, I can go ahead and smelt ores while I'm mining. Nope, can't do that at all. Ores, unable to be smelted. How about turn trees into charcoal? Not at all. But what you can do is turn cobblestone into stone and sand into glass. And that seems to be about it. So not too amazing, but It has its uses, although limited. Let's get that out of here. Next up on the list we have... Get out of there. We have Wand of Uprising. The Wand of Uprising is made with mirrored glass, 4 of them, and Wand of Lightning. And 2 Flight Essence and 2 Air Essence. I really put the wrong things in this thing. Alright, so the Wand of Uprising, it actually brings back a feature that I really enjoyed from Thaumcraft 2, and that is the ability to fly with an item. Simply by right-clicking with it, you can fly around. Although, the amount of air you get from this is a little bit low. However, let's try enchanting it with... Let's see, which one of those enchantments was it that gives a better potency? Less durability... Oh, of course, it's potency. Alright, so let's try it with potency. I don't know how big of potency you can actually get, but we're going to give it potency 5. Does not increase it at all. That's unfortunate. So, in order to fly around with this wand, you have to actually hold it down. However, I think it said that if you are falling from... Oh, nope. I guess if you just are falling in general and decide to right-click the ground with it, it'll slow you down just enough that you won't crash. Okay, so that's kind of useful. Let's see, next item on the list is going to be... Well, let's actually talk about this Ender Mirror. The Ender Mirror does pretty much exactly what you saw me doing. It allows you to access an Ender Chest. Well, specifically your Ender Chest, where you can store items. So, in a way this works kind of like taking a Wand of Disjunction and picking up a chest. It's just that instead of it being any old chest, it's your Ender Chest. Moving on, we have... Let's see, which one is next? I suppose the next one would actually be the Rune of Thanatos. The extra H is for amazing. I don't get that. The Rune of Thanatos is kind of special. It only works if you die. So, let's go ahead and die. I'm going to give myself a little pool of magma to fall into. Get a couple dirt blocks for later. And... oh no, I'm dying. Very slowly. I'll explain why I'm dying so slowly right now after we're done with the Rune of Thanatos. Alright, so the special thing about the Rune of Thanatos is that it actually is indestructible. Meaning, if you fall into a pit of lava, it's going to just pop back into your inventory. And, of course, in doing so, the Rune of Thanatos actually does get destroyed. And the recipe for crafting it is as so. Thaumium, Obsidian, a Zombie Brain, Mortis, Precantatio, and Potentia. So Mortis also has a little bit more uses with this mod too. Let's see, next item on the list. Let's talk about these things. Goliath's Legs. Goliath's Legs are made with Thaumaturge's leggings, and some armor and beast essence, and a handful of leather. And the way it works is that it reduces all incoming damage by 1. And if you are at 2.5 hearts and you would have died from an attack, you will survive that attack with half a heart. And that is the reason I took so long to die in the lava, because it kept on reducing the amount of lava damage by 1. So, obviously, very useful. Next item on the list. Let's see, next item on the list will be the Talisman of Withhold. The Talisman of Withhold is made with obsidian, gold, and a zombie brain, along with some vinculum, cognito, and malum. Now, let's get out some bottles of enchanting in order to show how this works. Now, to turn on the Talisman of Withhold, you have to shift and right-click. That will turn it red and give a nice dinging sound. I love that sound. And when you would normally pick up experience with this, it instead disappears in a little green poof of smoke and is stored inside of this talisman. Now, the special thing with it is if you have an empty bottle in your inventory and you right-click while holding the Wand of Talisman, you create a bottle of enchanting. So, you can actually create bottles of enchanting now with this mod, which is very, very useful. Especially since you do need the bottle of enchanting to make that one cloth. But you can also go ahead and grind experience and store it and give it to one of your friends if you want. Or just store it for later, so that way if you die and lose some enchanted items, you can quickly create new enchanted items. See, next up on the list, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Sword of the Condor. Sword of the Condor combines the Wand of Uprising with the Sword of the Zephyr and a little bit more Thaumium ingots, and requires Potentia and Volido. Now, Sword of the Condor is a little bit different than Sword of the Zephyr. While Sword of the Zephyr was able to knock mobs back from you when you right-click, Sword of the Condor instead grants you the ability to fly around. It also has a little bit more durability thanks to it being reinforced with some more Thaumium. Alright, moving on. Let's talk about the Wand of the Tinkerer. The Wand of the Tinkerer is basically a different option to create instead of Wand of the Adept. However, you do need the Wand of the Adept to make the Wand of the Tinkerer, so it's kind of strange. The Wand of the Tinkerer actually is able to hold 500 Viz. Oh, and the recipe also requires Precantatio and Vacuous, along with a bunch of Viz shards and Wand of Apprentice. Okay, Wand of the Tinkerer holds 500 Viz, allowing you to create more items, or bigger items. However, it recharges slower than a Wand of the Adept, which I guess is a fair trade-off considering it is able to hold more Viz than Wand of the Adept. Let's get rid of this talisman. So, next item. The next item we will get out of there. The next item we will talk about will be, scroll down very slowly, Arcane Transmutator. An Arcane Transmutator is made with a Wand of Equal Trade, Thaumium ingots, Arcane Wood, a Flux Filter, and a Crucible, along with 48 Permutatio and 24 Mutatio. Now, this kind of borders the equivalent exchange way of creating new items. The way it works is that you have to have some essence that is part of the item you are trying to create, and one of the item you are trying to create, plus enough viz to create it. I have a jar of Solum and a jar of Herba nearby, and I'm using a grass block as my template. And because of this, I'm able to create as much grass blocks as I can until there is no more essence in one of the jars. So, pretty neat, pretty useful. I suppose you can have one or two of these next to your infusion altar, or maybe even create an entire room dedicated just to making an unusually large amount of items. But I'm done with that. Next item on the list is going to be Gollum name tags. In order to create a Gollum name tag, you simply need to combine a sign and an ink sac, and this can actually be done in an arcane work table because it's not being infused with anything. But to actually name a golem, you have to take your golem name tag to an anvil and name it yourself. So, this is Speedy Jim here, however he doesn't have a name above him. Let's change that. In order to name him, you have to actually left click, you know, like you're actually punching. But you won't actually hurt your golem, you just will smack your name onto him. Hello Speedy Jim. I like how the name only shows up if you look at him. And he's called Speedy Jim because he is Speedy Jim. Look at him go. Speedy. Alright, next item. Next item will be the Stopwatch of the Time Twister. Stopwatch of the Time Twister is made of nether quartz and a clock, along with the essence of time and machine. Now the way this works is, when you right click with it, it will mark your location and give you a countdown of 1 minute. Now, the reason behind this is that, well, let's just go ahead and grab some items from this chest. The Stopwatch of the Time Twister will teleport you back to that exact location after a minute has passed. Now, this is kind of an odd thing to make. Huh. It also seems to give you some boost with jump and speed. That's good. That's kind of cool. One and done. Ta-da! I am back to where I started, and let's see, what use can there be for this? Oh wait, I'm not getting a boost of speed and jump from the stopwatch. I am wearing boots of the Traveler. I am an idiot. What good can this Stopwatch of the Time Twister be? Well, I suppose if you were trying to go into a cave and just wanted to teleport back fast in case there were monsters blocking your exit, that'd be one use. Another use could actually be with multiplayer and create time challenges. Give a person the stopwatch and have them do 1 minute to collect a certain amount of items, and then they get teleported back and they show how many items they have. That could work. Alright, next we will discuss the Sigil of Memories. Now, this one I'm actually having a bit of trouble figuring out how it works. But it could have been that I was in creative mode and it doesn't work in creative mode. And you need an ender pearl and 4 obsidian to create this, along with modus, alienus, and machina. 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 Whatever it is. Let's switch out of creative. Now, you're supposed to right-click an area you want to teleport to. Ah, yes, it's working now. So it doesn't work if you are in creative. Kind of like an ender pearl. But if you hold right-click with it, and I assume that black lightning means it's ready. And let go and teleport. Of course you do lose your sigil. Let's see, next up on the list, let's talk about tool dynamism. A tool dynamism actually uses a Gollum animation core, some iron, and some gold in order to create it, along with Praecantatio, Modus, Machina, and Imperado. Now, the way this works is that you can put a block in this device, or any item, and tell it to right-click or left-click with that, and whether you want it to activate with or without a redstone. With the redstone, it will only activate with the redstone pulse. Without, why aren't you working? Alright, it seems to want a redstone signal instead. Without, I made a device that turns itself off. So yes, without with the redstone signal, it will activate. And since I had a bottle of gaseous glowstone in there, I turned on a light. Of course, you can't turn the light back off. So kind of a one-use light bulb. However, you can also put weapons in here or tools. So let's get a test pig out, like usual. And the pig is now confused. Go back, pig. Go back, pig. Go back, pig. Go back, pig. Alright. You saw how it works. It actually attacks. So I think that if you were able to make some sort of automatic breeding system for animals, you could use this to, you know, slice them down while they are coming to the end of the line. A little bit morbid, but it works, I suppose. Can you go back in there, pig? Can you go back in there, pig? Can you go back in there, pig? Go back in there, pig. Nope, go back in. Go back in. Damn pig is too smart for its own good. Okay. Next item on the list. Actually, let's go to the inventory. What have we covered? We've covered this one, this one, this one. Actually, I haven't shown you the recipe for this. That is something I should remedy right now. Here you go, warded chest. Arcane wood, thaumium, a zombie brain, a chest, and warded glass. With Praecantatio and vacuous. There we go. Problem solved. Let's see, covered. All these are covered. Those are covered. I suppose we're pretty much down to the end of the line, which is Silk Cutter and Fortunate Maul. So, these two actually require you to combine knowledge fragments to create a discovery, and I have a big issue with the Silk Cutter. The Silk Cutter requires obsidian, thaumium sword, thaumium pick, basically all the thaumium tools, and a diamond. And it requires for essences 25 instrumentum, 12 praecantatio, 4 tenebris, and 100 panis. Why does it require the essence of cloth? Because it's got silk in its name? That doesn't really make much sense. Because it automatically is made with the Silk Touch enchantment? That still doesn't make much sense. There's quite literally no sense to it being panis. But it's panis, so you get a silk cutter with silk touch automatically. If you want to enchant it further, you're going to need an anvil. And it works exactly like it says it would, with silk touch. You're able to get leaves, grass, pretty much anything that requires silk touch to get. Actually, let's test it out with an ore. No, we don't want a pig. In fact, let's get a second ore out, because we're going to need that too. So, does it mine redstone? It does mine redstone. So, perfect, it can actually mine things. Then there is the Fortunate Maul. The Fortunate Maul is made pretty similarly to the silk cutter, except it doesn't have a sword in it. It has a hoe. And it requires Instrumentum, Charis, Precantatio, and Tenebris. And it works exactly like you think it does. In fact, it comes with Fortunate 3 on it by default. Hooray for fortune! Although it didn't give me very much. Is 5 all you get with fortune? Apparently not. So, I believe I've covered everything. Excuse me. Let's see. Yeah, everything's covered. So, those are the items, and if you want to actually research them with... if you want spoilers on the research for the items, click the Door of Knowledge and enter the Hall of Knowledge, which I will reveal all the Thaumcraft Tinkerer items researches. I hope you guys enjoyed this mod. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and fave. And I will see you next time. Take care, and goodbye.